So I've showed you that I bought the 2009 Dodge Viper ACR. Now let me tell you why and give you a little bit more of an in-depth look into the car. This car is a reliable race car for the street. And obviously, as you see all of my other cars, it has a big wing on the back. So it's got my name written all over. It's got a great road presence. It's got a V10 engine, lots of horsepower, and the performance is top of its class. It pulls 1.6 Gs on the tires delivered from the factory. 1.6 lateral Gs is silly. When I started getting into cars in around 2000, a car that could tip one lateral G, like the Cobra R, was revolutionary, that it could pull a lateral G. This is just another league. The performance is so far up here, and the price is so far down here compared to the other cars in that category. It was a no-brainer for me. So most people don't know this, but for a Viper, if you see one on the street, you can be that guy, because the Viper, you don't have to pop the hood from the inside. The release is under here, so you can pop anyone's Viper hood without them really knowing or being able to do anything about it. But you go 0 to asshole in 1 second when you do that. Big V10 engine, 8.4 liters, not the most fuel efficient vehicle out there, I'll admit that. The biggest problem I have with this car is that the gas tank, seemingly a little weird, that when you get down to a quarter of a tank, it just evaporates. I live about 15 miles from here, and if I'm at a quarter of a tank, I can't make it home and back without worrying about running out of fuel. This is purely built for performance. When I buy a car and say, okay, now what do I have to upgrade it to race it? That's usually the case. That's not the case with this car. There's really nothing you have to do to upgrade it to bring it on a racetrack and have fun with it, which is what I was looking for. Now you want to talk about track prepped. Track prepped is more than just throwing a wing on the car and a set of tires. This car has factory harness mounts in the car. All you have to do is buy the kit, screw the little eyelets in, and you can hook your 5-6 point harnesses right up to the factory locations. No roll bar, no welding, no cutting. It's great, and you can take them out, sell the car. The value of the car is not affected. The very, very basic stuff I did was safety. I did the harnesses, driver and passenger seat. I did the fire extinguisher mount, and that's it. That's all I've done to the car. It doesn't need anything more than that. This is a factory race package, which the only thing I could possibly see doing is an exhaust, and it probably needs an exhaust because it's a little quiet, which is nice for road trips, but bad for tunnels, because I like tunnels. So handling and braking is something that's really come a long way since I got into cars. And a main reason for the braking power is the carbon ceramic rotors. It was something I was looking for in a new car. The 996 GT2 did have carbons. This one didn't, but when I drove it, it doesn't need it. This car has terrific stopping power, and part of it is the big set of aftermarket brakes in the front and rear, and the Pilot Sport Cup tires, 295s on the front and 345s on the rear. So the thing that most notably makes this thing stand apart from the regular Viper, which is what I liked about this versus the Porsche still looks sort of like a Porsche, is that this is super outlandish. The road presence is amazing on this car, mainly because of the paint job, the two-tone with the stripe, and then the aero kit. It's got the fully functional everything. It's got the carbon fiber carnards on the front splitter, which this is the street version. The track version has another piece that fills in here for additional downforce, but it ruins your ground clearance when you're driving around day to day. That's why I keep it off the car unless I'm on a racetrack. It also has the huge wing on the back. Huge wing creates a tremendous amount of downforce, which allows the car to be very stable at speed. The only thing the aero kit does is it lowers the top speed of the car. So instead of topping out like most of the other Gen 4 Vipers around 195, this car is going to top out around 177. I haven't tried it. I don't really find a need to try that, but I'm sure I will if I take it out to Silver State. It's a reliable, great car that I can drive whenever I want. I can take it on a road trip, and you don't have to worry about it breaking down. Let's take it out for a spin. I'll show you a little bit what it can do, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, which is really not much I don't like about it. But let's take it out for a spin and see what it can do. Now this car, a great thing about it is it definitely clears everyone out of the lane in front of you. It's got such a great rear view mirror presence that everybody, when they look and see it, they move right out of the way. The car's got a ton of power. It tacks up, I'm not going to say quick. It doesn't tack up as quick as a Ferrari with the throttle response, but it's a very fun drive. And then when you downshift, it's very easy to rev match, which is nice. It makes you feel like a good driver when you can rev match nice, and it sounds nice. You get that feedback. When I change the exhaust on the car, it's really going to kick because you're going to get that nice, crisp sound. It's very quiet from the factory because it's got the two sets of cats, and then the big muffler on it. I got the MagnaFlow exhaust. MagnaFlow sent me one, which I intend on putting on. And I'm also doing a full cat delete because the state of Florida, which is where I live, does not require catalytic, well, it does technically. They just don't inspect, so you can get away with a lot more down there. So the tunnel factor is not that great. It gives you a better in-car than out-of-car exhaust experience, which I intend on changing. But it does give you a good, fun driving experience while reminding you that it's still in charge. Because this car definitely takes a lot of effort to drive. But it just sucks because the roads around here suck. Typically, and that's the one thing I learned about this car, the suspension is so tight, you see a lot of air time when you catch a bump that may be sort of a normally absorbed bump in most cars. This one, you come out of your seat, which is why it's actually nice to have the harnesses on sometimes. So this car is not necessarily going to beat a lot of cars in a straight line drag race, especially like the 60 to 150. That's not where it shines. It's the track performance, the way it's able to lap and grip a racetrack, which is really what makes this car fun. And I've got the other performance down with it. If I want straight line speed, I got that covered with the Supra. If I want ridiculous speed when I expect it, I take this car. If I want ridiculous speed, and it may happen, it may not, I'll take out the Corvette, as long as it stays in one piece. But this car is a showstopper. It's a lot of fun. It catches everybody's eye, and it's as exotic of a car as you're going to get for this price point.